Talia Agler came to D.C. to do big things. Tragically, her life was cut short at 26, but it turns out her legacy is just beginning. We've done stories on organ donation before, but never quite like this. We traveled to Florida as Talia's parents met the Maryland woman who is now living with their daughter's heart.
Thank you so much for giving me Talia's heart.
It was an emotional first meeting, and no one knew what to expect.
I'm so honored to be having a heart for such a wonderful person.
For these two families brought together by the sudden and tragic death of 26-year-old Talia Agler.
It's your worst nightmare, you know, to get a phone call like this.
That call was the news that the Agler's daughter, Tali, had been hit by a car. It happened here at 17th and Constitution. She'd been out jogging on the mall. On January 27th, 2012, she was gone.
Tali broke an arm, a shoulder, both legs. The only thing they couldn't take was one lung. Everything else was okay. How does that happen, that a person has all these injuries and all those things are okay?
Tali's legacy would be immeasurable. She'd made her feelings about organ donation known, so one of her lungs, both kidneys, her pancreas and liver, and her heart were all shared, with 5 different people, giving all of them a second chance at life.
You know, our world turned upside down, but now there were 5 phone calls, you know, going out to other families, saying, here's the gift of life for you.
One of those calls went to Martha Lefebvre in Damascus, Maryland. 4 years earlier, the mother of 3 had suffered 3 heart attacks within 6 hours.
So they resuscitated me 3 times.
She survived, but there was damage to almost half of her heart. Doctors implanted a pacemaker, and she wore a battery-powered heart pump 24/7 while she waited for her turn on the transplant waiting list. Just a few hours after Tali's death, Lefebvre got the call that would change her life.
He said, we might have waited for a year, he said, but we have the perfect heart. You know, he said it immediately started beating.
I would think about just wanting to curl up in the lady's lap. I didn't know her name. And just wanting to hear that heartbeat.
More than a year after Tali's death, her mother got to experience a part of her daughter that is still alive and giving life.
Of course you can, Minnie. Could you hear her? Did you hear it? See, I could feel it.
It took some time for both sides of this new connection to feel emotionally ready for this meeting.
Seeing you here helps make sense out of something that makes absolutely no sense. It gives meaning and goodness to the most awful thing that's ever happened to us.
Both families shared their very personal story to encourage you to consider organ donation. The Aglers are also keeping Tali's passion for social justice alive. A women's shelter in Nairobi, where she spent some time during college, has been named in her honor. You can learn more about becoming an organ donor and about the Nairobi shelter on our website, NBCWashington.com.
Strong story.